since since I actually streamed something. A little bit more, making more Star Wars Legion minis. I'm actually just continuing the ones I was working on. So, we got our water, we got our paint. Let's get going. Get them all set up. And as always, the music I got going, it is copyright free, so we are ready to paint. Let's go. Get you over here so I can get you. You're gonna be a little bit more closer to my voice, by the way. But I can actually see what I'm doing while I do it. Get some brushes wet. Yeah, I kind of left my guys where they were. I didn't get back to them for a little bit. Even though we are almost done with the core Legion starter set. So, it's been a minute, so that's why. Let's get you going. I actually am going to start off with the other ones. I was like, and even though at first I didn't want to really do it, I am gonna make these guys more of the indoor kind of like modern camouflage look. So we're gonna start with some green skin there. And these other ones need their pants painted on. So we'll get on that right now. How's everybody doing today, tonight, this evening, this morning, whenever you decide to watch my stream? I always appreciate it. Sorry, I wasn't quite in the shot while I was doing this. Let me actually move that maybe right about there, just so I can have a better view. So tonight we're going to actually be doing not only just the pant part of this, but also I'm going to probably do boots on all of them, gloves, and probably the blasters, because that's pretty easy, fairly easy I would say. I did a heavy green on the other vest, so I might do that here too as well. Just something to kind of differentiate between the light green when I did that on the shirts. That's looking pretty darn good there so far. You could definitely tell a contrast in between the both of them. Okay. It's a little tougher on this side because he's got the bandolier going across there. So I'm doing my best to avoid not only the bandolier but the strap for the backpack, and he's got a little something right there. Looks alright so far though. Okay, get this little detail right here. I'm going a little closer to the boot. Okay. Looks like we got them done so far. I know it's going to look a little weird, but you can definitely tell, especially once it'll dry. You'll tell the difference between the actual inner shirt and the vest. So that'll look pretty darn cool. Make sure that these guys look like they're part of the same group. Okay, so we're going to do the other one. Start with the pants. Welcome, viewer. Hopefully the music isn't too loud. Get this right here. And we're just getting the little details in there. Nothing too crazy. Gonna get this little part right here. It's always those little cloth parts are the hardest, but get them. Again, I'm just brushing and filling in those. I think we got everywhere on them. Let me get this little spat back here. It looks like it could use a little bit more love. those. Now the two that have rifles, you can see where the vest, the dark green that I want to go against the light green. So I'm going to go ahead and get those little shoulder areas of the vest. Okay. So let's go ahead and get that. Let's see where's Steven going to get the part that goes inside. Just to make sure we got all our ducks in a row. As you can see there, get a good contrast between that, and then it's going to darken up once it dries. It'll still look really good. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Again, against my black glove, you can see the contrast. And I think I might even add some, like, maybe some black in there, or some of the dark brown when I do the actual pants. Like, you know, because I'm going to, again, like my earlier work, just give them some camouflage, you know, the basic ones from the troops from the Battle of Endor. I do also have the other ones that look a little bit more like a cross between the troops that were on the other ship in episode 4 in the beginning. Those were actually pretty nice. And, I mean, like, it kind of paid homage to that. Okay, so a little bit more paint. I am kind of putting a little bit of a thick coat on there, but I am trying to just move it around so we can get in all the parts where you can see. Make it look more like it's actually part of it. Just trying to keep that wet for a minute. But I think I got both of those shoulders pretty well. See there? Again, got a cool contrast between them. We got light green, dark green. So with that in mind, I think I'm pretty much done with those. So I'm going to go ahead and clean off. All I'm really doing is just wiping up all the paint with a blue towel. It's really easy, really good for cleaning up. I think right now I'll go ahead and move on to black, matte black, for the rifles and for the 2 heavy blasters. So, got our same brush. And I just kind of clean it out there. Make sure we got all the color out. some matte black. I'm doing too much, so I'm just gonna maybe one more drop. And I shall take from my water to, it's not that deep, a couple drops of water. I always do that just to kind of loosen it up a little bit, kind of get a little bit thinner. The reason I'm thinning it down, especially when you're doing things like these guys, typically the reason being is because of you want to get in all your little crevices of the weapon. So I'll show you here. Start with one of these guys. Hopefully I didn't take any paint off his shoulder. We'll just brush along there. You can see how it gets inside. Actually, it might be a little too thin. Maybe I messed up. I'm not sure how. Let's take a look once it dries. Go ahead and move that there. Kind of move it upside down. Try and get the little parts under it. You might even do like I did right there and get a little bit of the glove. That's okay. Try and get that handle. Okay. We'll finish up with this one here. There. I know you can't really see it against the black glove, but you can kind of see it in the hands. There. I'll switch over to one of the heavy blasters. I'm sure it's got an actual name for like the exact weapon, but to me it just looks like a heavy Gatling gun blaster. So naturally, just kind of get in between those cracks and crevices. And we'll get the handle back there. A little tough right there because there's a little handle that goes to the side there that he's holding it from above. I'm going to try and get that a little bit. There we go. Again, paint's kind of thin, so we'll get the handle part right there. Perfect. And once this dries too, we can also put the details of, you know, the silver markings, like where it's had scratches here and there. That's okay if any gray shows through, because that'll just make it look even more weathered. So that's one of them done. There was also, oops, got a little bit of black on this one. That's okay. As you can see, the paint's kind of moving around too while I'm just touching up here and there and getting those little parts. Making sure it's all good. I think one of these days I'm going to learn to actually bust out like helping hands or something like that to actually hold things that can't quite touch the ground or shouldn't be like, left to do so, if that makes sense. Just something that you don't want to like, because sometimes like when I put things down after I painted them, like they'll dry but they'll stick to the thing. And it could cause rippage on the paint and then I end up having to touch ups and things like that. And here, we're doing the backpacks for these same troopers. Just doing the little blaster, or the blaster rifle, so rather not only carrying a heavy blaster, but a blaster rifle as well. These guys are armed to the teeth. And I left the little straps gray because I'm actually going to come back and do brown on those once they are done. Try. I think later on too, I'll do more dark paint, green paint on the backpack, just to kind of do that with some browns. Again, to kind of give it that, like it was painted to be camouflaged and, hidden in the forest. So make sure that these are all taken up. And you can see them there. There you go, buddy. Okay, I think I got all the rifles. I am going to kind of touch up on these guys again because I think I thinned it out a little too much. Again, that's okay. It's alright to do thinner coats than it is to do one big thick coat because I really don't like doing that with my models. Ah, I missed one. Here we are. Kind of hit the glove pretty hard there. That's okay though. And I hit the shoulder pad, but that's fine. I'm gonna come back with dark brown and finish those up. So I think we got all those guys. Get this little part right here in the butt. Again, kind of just retouch up the handle. Just making sure I got everything. As you can see. And two. Okay. Looks like for now. Excuse me. At least for now, those ones look like they're all done. Not totally done, but you know, those model parts are pretty good. Probably do some dark brown now. What I'm going to do, just going to try and clean up half of this, because what I would like to do is use a little bit of that black to go in with some dark leather brown, or leather brown to actually give it that. Yeah, there we go. So now what we'll do, right in that black, a little bit of brown, leather brown, there we go. Now instead of what we did before where I added like from the dropper, I'm going to actually dip my brush in heavily, mix it around with that. Just because it's such a smaller batch of like a darker leather brown paint, it'll mix just fine. And it should, as you can see right there on the edges and on my little test, come out just fine. Okay. So now we're going to do boots. Because I really like giving these guys dark brown boots. And even though you might not see it, I always like to do the bottom of the boot just to make sure. Get all my bases covered just in case any part is exposed. Okay. And hopefully if I could stretch this out, I could do the straps and gloves as well. Hopefully by the time I get to the gloves, the blaster paint will be dried. Looking good so far. And probably do the stripe on their helmet as well. That would be good. So again, we're just kind of closer and closer to getting these guys done, getting them fielded. At least looking pretty darn decent. Had this kit for a while. It took me forever to get to it. Alright, those are looking pretty darn good. Once they dry, they'll be even darker. Look like they're weathered. And that's like really the look we're going for with these guys. I think that's even the look I went for with my stormtroopers, looking like they've been kind of more going for, like, for the stormtroopers. It's weird because these guys are going more for that Endor look, Battle of Endor look, and the stormtroopers look like they've been on Jakku for a while. Or if you've even seen episodes of The Mandalorian, like those stormtroopers look like they've been, their armor looks like it's seen better days, which isn't a bad thing. It's neat to see like weathered stormtrooper armor. Okay, let's go one closer to this. Turn that down just one notch. Okay, that one's looking pretty good. Did I have another one lurking about? Did I get all your guys' boots really fast? I guess I did. Okay, so for gloves, this is one I really got to concentrate on. Sure it is thin enough, so I'm definitely gonna get all the parts that I want, because it does thicken up, unfortunately, because my kitchen fan is on. That could thicken up the pot faster, or the portion that I poured out and made to that. So we got that one. Good. Before I stop, there we go. It's gonna get a little tougher now because we're getting to a point where it's gonna be a shorter episode, but you get to a point where I can't quite paint anything else because everything's trying to dry at the same time. Which isn't a bad thing per se. It's always kind of like toward the end of like a model you might find that happening. Never have to rush it at all. I always give it a full day to cure anyway before I come back and assemble it, because these guys, especially trying to assemble them, I have scratched them before trying to assemble them, and then I had to come back and like repaint some spots, and it's not fun having to do that and having to touch up. Always makes me feel like I messed up a little bit. There we are. Let's see what else. Okay. Heavy blaster gloves. Yeah, it looks like they actually got a uniform now. Who knows, maybe this group just got all the same supplies from the same person. Okay. It's a little tougher there. I think that's okay. That's probably as close as I'm going to get to. that one. There we go. It's looking pretty darn good. Okay, so I got gloves there, all 4 gloves done. Wow, that went faster than expected. What I'm going to do, didn't wet it, kind of wet this a little bit. It's kind of turning into a wash at this point. I'm going to have to use a thinner brush for the straps here, but I do want to get those done. So it's a little thinner, a little stiffer. Still works really well. So we'll go ahead and do that. Right now, even if it's thin, thin thing with the gray background, it actually makes the strap look more weathered, which is not a bad thing. That is looking pretty darn good there. First try, so we'll let that dry off. Do that second backpack, and I might try and stretch this out and do belts and backpack straps. So bear with me. There. A little bit got on there, that's okay. We'll come back and add detail and whatnot. Okay. So as for the 2 guys, they're standing kind of right up. Let's do these belt pouches first. And this actual belt. Okay, that's pretty good. Do the back. Okay, got those. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do the backpack straps right now. Okay, that's looking pretty darn good, I'd say. Get a little bit more of that. Don't be afraid to kind of get over the bounds, because even though nobody's going to see it in there, it's always good to get that. Alright. Again, kind of got that hoodie. That's okay. Because that'll still blend in looking like it once I actually do the camouflage scheme as far as the dark brown, maybe a little bit of black on there, maybe a tan. But that is looking pretty darn good, I'd say. What do you think? Get the full part of that strap right there. Okay. Those ones, those ones, those ones. Oh, got the vest pretty good there. That's okay. Again, we're kind of working against time here, so that's what I get for rushing a little bit. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, we'll hit those just real quick. Nothing major. Yeah, don't be worried if things don't come out like, perfect the first time around when you do these guys. Beautiful thing about miniatures is you can come back and kind of, like, not to totally rip them off, but man, Bob Ross was right when there are happy little accents. There are things you can kind of come back and maybe touch up, maybe add a little bit more, maybe anything like that. I mean, especially with these guys, it's easier to, just make it look, nice. You don't have to be perfect. It's a beautiful thing about the Rebellion. It's not perfect, but man, they do awesome. So I got the little parts right there too. I figured why not while I'm in the neighborhood. I'll get those. I can even do that on this one. Just a quick little touch there. Just to kind of make sure it look like it. Okay. I think I still have a little bit of brown left there. Let's quickly get these guys. You know what? I don't mind. Even if it might seem a little bit like a waste, let's add a little bit more brown there. Just a tiny bit. And a bit more water. And it'll still mix in with that darker brown just to make a little bit more paint to get done what we wanted to get done. So there's no pressure to kind of like come back and be like, oh, did I get that same brown? Is it in there? And I mean, again, not to sound like I'm on repeat or anything, but with the Rebel troops, it's okay if things aren't exactly matched up, because they weren't exactly matched up, The bandolier, I might come back and add some black on the ends of those, so it looks like there's things in the pouch. I'll even do a little bit of brown right there. And what I could do later on is add something to that just to make it look a little bit more. Sorry you couldn't see for a minute. There we go. Thought I had it right in the pan. Guess not. Let's see me finish up that part. And this is tough right here, but that's okay. I got pretty darn close. Should we get the side of this pouch here? Good. Get the bottom. Just kind of blend that in. Other side of this pouch too. Good. Even though this is a darker brown too, even on these guys right here, that's okay. You know, some straps wear down differently. So those are the straps on those. I think the last one is this one. He'll look a little bit more even because you were using the fresher batch for his belt and straps. And for his, I think I'm going to actually do his helmet brown stripe across compared to the other ones that have like that dark green stripe. I might even do that on the other one that I had down there too. The two guys, the two riflemen, they were just a little different. Okay. And then once I assemble them, the thing that's easier to actually get in is move you up a little bit more so you can see it when I have it where it's a little bit more comfortable for me too. The thing that feels a little bit more sorry, to finish my thought, once they're assembled, that's usually where I add like the metal parts, because I just try and do it on the parts where it's a little visible. Don't be afraid to not do that, and maybe even do them while they're still disassembled. I honestly, for the life of me, this is just me. This is my little thing, my little soapbox where I die on. My little hill that I die on. I like to do these details before I assemble the characters because like I just don't get how people, I'm sure either they got better brushes or whatever. How I've seen people do Games Workshops where they put them all together and then they paint it. I'm just like, how did you get like all the details in those little crevices and everything? You know, because I'm sure I would miss parts. Like I would bet money that I would miss parts on my paint through of said miniature. It kind of bewilders me a little bit. Anyway, that's my little rant on that. Nothing major, just my thoughts on that. And we'll do a stripe up here on his helmet. Make sure that we got that. I actually should have done a dark green on his and the other guys, because it looks like a hoodie. There's a hoodie part in the back there. I'll have to come back and do that later on. But I might do that off camera, because there have been a couple models. I was like, I'll do this off camera. My next ones I'll do hopefully coming up this weekend. I got these heavy guys here, and they'll typically be good for that. But for now, we got these guys. I might even do the skin part off screen as well. But right now, you can see totally. Let me point you down. This is where we have, clean that brush real quick. Them just barely ready for just pre-assemble. So we'll get that going. And yeah, we'll finally get this thing done before the end of the year. So you guys have a great night, great evening, great morning, whenever you're viewing this. Much love, people. Peace out. Thumbs up.